Morning, students. We are going to start the second lecture uh, for the centrifugal stresses in the rotating disk and cylinders. In the previous lecture, we have studied what are the centrifugal stresses, how to calculate these stresses in the case of the rotating rings and disk. And in the present lecture, we'll be starting uh, to calculate the stresses which are there due to rotation in the long cylinders, and also we'll be learning how to design a disk which is of uniform strength. So first the stresses in the long cylinder. As you see, this is a cross section of the cylinder. So this is the length. So uh, in order to calculate the stresses in the cylinder, long cylinders, uh, the case is similar to the rotating disk which we have discussed previously. However, a longitudinal stress, that is sigma z, will also be there uh, while driving the formulae for radial stress and the force stress. So let us consider a circular cylinder. It's a cross section showing which is having the inner radius, that is R1 as the inner radius and R2 as the outer radius, which is rotating at a uniform speed, that is omega. Uh, so it is assumed that the plane sections which were there of the cylinder shall remain plane during the rotation. This condition is very important because the cylinders are long. So in that case, the longitudinal strain along the z-axis, that is this, will be independent of the radius and will be constant. So this is a condition we consider. So we consider a element A, B, C, D here. So A, B, C, D. So sigma theta is the hoop stress or the circumferential stress. Sigma R is the radial stress, and sigma Z is the axial stress. So uh, we consider a portion ABCD, which is located at distance R, and it is subjected to the radial stress and the hoop stress. So radial stress, by using the generalized Hooke's law, we can use this expression for radial strain, that is epsilon r, 1 upon E, the radial stress, Poisson ratio, uh, the hoop stress, and the axial stress. So this is equal to du upon dr. So as we have seen in the case of the disk. Now the hoop strain, that is epsilon theta, is 1 by E, sigma theta minus mu, sigma r minus sigma z, and this is mu upon r, u upon r. The u is the uh, expansion in the radial direction. So these are the two strains. One is in radial strain, another is hoop strain. Similarly, we can write the expression for the longitudinal strain, that is the epsilon z. So 1 upon E, sigma z upon E minus mu times sigma r upon E minus sigma theta upon E. Okay. So from these equations, uh, we can write here second equation if you see here. So it is EU sigma r upon theta. Yeah, it is actually here plus sign. Okay. So differentiating this equation with respect to r, and you substitute in first equation, that is du upon dr. So if you differentiate this equation and you equate this is equal to the other equation, so we will get this expression. Now from the equation number 3, that is this equation, that E times sigma epsilon z is equal to sigma z minus mu time. So this, as we said, this remains constant. So let it be equal to C. So now sigma z is equal to C1 plus mu into sigma r plus theta. So differentiating with respect to r, so you will get d sigma z upon dr u into d differential of sigma r and differential of theta. Substituting this value in the equation number 4, here, this. So you will be getting the equation like this, and you can solve it or simplify it. So it will be giving us this fifth equation. So now considering the equilibrium of this elementary portion ABCD between the angular portion theta and theta plus delta theta. So here if you see, it is theta, theta, and this is delta theta. So theta plus delta theta, if you consider the equilibrium. So sigma r minus sigma theta is this equation. So comparing this fifth and sixth, these are both the values of sigma r and sigma theta. You compare these equations. So you will be getting this expression. On simplifying, you will be getting this expression, this 1 minus mu. So this is 1 minus mu. Okay. So now integrating on the both sides, you will get for this as sigma r and for this as sigma theta. Minus mu times sigma r square r square upon 2 plus C2. Okay. So constant C2, the constant of integration by adding sigma C and this equation number 6 and 7. So you will get this value of the C2. So this expression we get. So multiplying both sides by R, multiplying both sides by R. So on the left hand side, this will be the differential of R square into sigma R, and on right hand side, this expression. So on integration, you will get R square sigma R is equal to rho R square into R 4 upon 8, 3 mu, 3 minus 2 mu upon 1 minus mu, plus this will be R square upon C2 plus C3. Okay. So C3 is the constant of integration. So we get the final equation as sigma r is equal to this and sigma theta is equal to. So these are the equations of the radial stress and the hoop stress in the case of the cylinder. So similarly here also we will solve it, one for the solid cylinders and another for the hollow cylinder. So for the rotating cylinders, radial and hoop stresses are given by these equations. At center, that is r is equal to 0, stress remains finite. Therefore, this C2 will be equal to 0. Otherwise, uh, this will be um, infinity. Because if you put R0 here, this will be infinity. So C3 is 0. So this term we will take as 0. And you will be getting this equation reduced to this. And this equation reduced to this. So for the solid cylinder with the free surface, so at R is equal to R2, sigma R is 0. So you can put here uh, R is equal to R2, sigma R is 0. So you will get the value of C2. So now from here you put the value of C2 here. So we will get the final equation of the radial stress in the case of the cylinder, which varies with R. So R is the distance from the center. So this is an important equation for the radial stress. Radial. Now, similarly, we get the equation for the hoop stress by putting the value of the constant, which we have just calculated. Hoop stress. So at center, uh, sigma z is 0, so this remains constant. So sigma r is equal to sigma max. We'll get this equation. Now, in order to calculate the stress in the hollow cylinder, so since we know this, so for sigma r is 0 for hollow cylinder, we'll be having R1 and R2. So for the way in the case of the disk, we have found that this was the variation of the radial stress. So it is 0 at R1 and R2. So R1 and R2. So we can put this value R1 R2 is equal to 0. So C2 is equal to this. Therefore, we put the value of C2. So you will get the radial stress as this and the hoop stress as this. So hoop stress is maximum at R is equal to R1. That also we have seen. We have seen the variation of the hoop stress like this. So it is maximum. It is max. So you will get this value. Now if R1 upon R2, R1 upon R2, so R1 it is almost equal to 0, then sigma theta maximum is equal to S1 upon 2. So this is a value of the maximum value of, because this R1 we have taken 0, so R1 upon R2 will be also 0. Okay. So it is very small, so we have taken this as equal to 0. So on comparing the equation for solid and the hollow cylinder, we find that the maximum hoop stress in the cylinder with a small hole is twice of that of the solid cylinder. Okay. So if you see here, so 3 minus 2 mu upon 1 minus mu. So it is like this. If you compare. So for sigma r to be maximum, again you will differentiate this equation and you will equate this is equal to 0. So we will get R is equal to R1 and R2 product and geometric mean. So sigma R maximum, it will be 1 upon 8, 3 minus 2 mu, 1 minus mu, rho omega square. So you can put the value of R in this equation. Okay. So when you will put the value here, you will get this as a final equation for the maximum stress. So before here, so you get one value this for the maximum hoop stress and one value this for the radial stress maximum. So these two importance are the equations are very important. So you must remember this for solving the numerical. Now lastly, in order to design a disk which is of uniform strength, so we see here the hoop stress in the disk due to rotation is maximum at center and decreases towards periphery. This we have seen. Even the radial stress is 0 at the periphery. Therefore, it is uneconomical if the thickness of disk is kept constant. So most economical section of a disk is one which results in the same value of the stress, radial or hoop, for the disk. So it is important statement. Such a disk is called the disk of the uniform strength. So we take the hoop stress is equal to radial stress is equal to constant. So we have considered a disk which is rotating at high speed with omega rpm, and sigma is equal to sigma theta is equal to sigma r. So in all direction, the strength is uniform. So we design this and we find that what should be the radius, what should be the thickness at center and the periphery. So let us consider that a T as a thickness, T as a thickness of the disk at the center R, and disk at not at center, at a radius R. So this radius, if you see, it is so, and T plus delta T is at the radius R plus 0. So it is 0. Now, rho is the density of material for the disk. So outward radial force on face BC, on face BC. So BC shown here. You can say A, B, A, B, C, D. So outward radial force on the face BC. You can mark here. It is BC is given. So this is given. This is outward radial force. So sigma r into r plus dr into d theta. So this will become the thickness, and this will be the width, and this will be the thickness. So this becomes the area. Sigma into this will give you the stress. Sigma and this will give you the force, because stress into area is the force. So now if you multiply this T into R delta T into R and R into delta T and delta T into delta theta delta R, so that you have neglected because of the product of the smaller value. So this is the outward radial force on BC. Similarly, the centrifugal force, which is acting on the element ABCD, so this we know sigma R square into this is the volume. So this is the volume. So this is the centrifugal force. So centrifugal force acting on the element is this. So inward radial force is this is the stress, radial stress. So T into R into d theta will give you the area. So this becomes the force. So inward radial force component. So it will be sigma into T into delta R into delta theta. Okay. So total inward radial force. So this we have added, and total outer radial force. So this we have added. So considering this, you will see here some of the terms will be cancelled. Sigma T into R into delta theta. So this will be cancelled. And finally, you will be left with this expression. So now you divide this by T. So actually, this will be the product. So this will be taken as 0, because smaller product is equal to 0. This term will be 0. So it will be rho. One term will be on the other side. So rho into delta theta into dr into this. So delta theta, this, yes. So in this expression, if you see carefully, so delta theta and delta theta, this will be cancelled. So delta r, yeah. So sigma r into delta t is equal to minus rho sigma r minus rho delta r into t into omega square. Okay. So you will get this. We can rewrite for some sigma into r into delta t. This is equal to minus rho into delta r into t into omega r. So one of r this will go, and you can break this, so you will get this delta t upon t, and this expression you will get on solving this. So taking the limit on both sides, so this will give us dt upon t minus rho omega square upon sigma r into dr. So integrating on both sides, so this will be log t, 1 upon t is log t, minus rho omega square r square upon 2 sigma and log a. This will be constant of integration. So this you can bring on the other side. So it will be log t minus log a, which will be log m upon n, that is log t upon a minus omega, rho omega square r square upon a. So if you take the anti-log of this equation, so you will be coming to this expression t upon a is equal to e to the power minus rho omega square r square upon 2 sigma, and t is equal to a. So in order to solve this, so we take that at t is equal to t0, at r is equal to ri. So that's why we have taken a shape like this. So this is at r is equal to 0, that is at ri. So this is at ri, so this one is ri, and this is at r0. So finally you will be getting the value of the t0 as this. So you can put this value of a here. So you will get t is equal to t0, a to the power. So for solid uniform disk, Ri is 0. So you will be getting. This is a general equation for designing the thickness in the case of the disk which is of uniform strength. So you can put the value of Ri is equal to 0 for a solid disk. So you will get this. So you can design the thickness. So in order to understand this, let us solve one numerical. So it says that a solid circular disk of radius 3 meter is of uniform strength. It rotates at 1000 rpm and the permissible stress is restricted to 100 megapascal. To find out the equation of the thickness of disk and hence evaluate the minimum thickness. So the density of the steel is given like this, and T0 is given 100. So first of all, we will calculate omega is equal to 2 pi n upon 60. So n is 1000 rpm, so we will get 104.7 radian per second. Sigma permissible is equal to 100 megapascal. So density is this. Now, equation for the thickness we have just derived. So we'll put, we'll first calculate this factor omega, sorry, rho omega square upon 2 sigma. So rho is given, omega if you have calculated, 2 into sigma is given as this, and because it's a permissible stress. So it is 0.43. So required thickness at any distance r, so it can be given by this equation. You put the value of this factor. So maximum thickness occurs when r is equal to 3. So because it is the radius is 3, so you can calculate the thickness, so maximum thickness. So this way you can design a disk which is of uniform strength. So thank you very much for your patience listening. So with this we have covered the chapter on centrifugal stresses. Few numericals have been given in the tutorial sheets, so one can solve it. So thank you very much.